Close your eyes, dear traveler. Tonight we drift across forgotten temples, moonlit deserts, and sacred rivers, where the whispers of divine women echo softly through the ages. These were goddesses, priestesses, and mothers of mystery, guardians of wisdom, love, and rebirth. As the stars wheel slowly above, we will walk gently through the ancient cults that honored the feminine spirit, the protectors of harvest, the healers of sorrow, and the dreamers who carried humanity's prayers into eternity. Let the hush of their stories settle over you like a warm blanket, guiding you into rest and wonder. If these stories soothe your heart and help you drift to sleep, consider subscribing for more gentle journeys. And if you feel called, share in the comments where in the world you are listening from tonight. We begin in the earliest days, when humanity looked to the earth as mother and the sky as womb. Here we trace the first images of divine women carved into stone and clay, whispering of fertility, protection, and endless cycles of life. Night settles gently around you. The air is calm, soft as a blanket of quiet breath. A slow rhythm of silence stretches, like waves upon still water. You are safe here, resting, drifting, and now let us wander backward, far, far into the earliest days of humankind, beyond kingdoms, beyond temples. Before writing, before stories were written down, there was the earth, there was the sky, and in the heart of humankind there was a vision, the goddess. The people of those ancient days looked upon the world with open wonder. The soil beneath their feet fed them, the rivers gave them drink, the trees gave them shelter, the animals gave them life, and so they looked upon the earth as a living being, a mother, a giver, a womb from which all things were born. In caves and open plains, they carved small figures, round, gentle shapes of women with full bodies, with wide hips, with soft curves. These little statues were not idols of power or kingship. They were whispers of gratitude. They were offerings to the mother, to the one who nurtured, who gave without end. The first prayers were simple, not written in ink, not spoken in long chants. They were carved in clay. They were held in the palm of the hand. Tiny mothers, sacred tokens of life. Picture now a small fire glowing inside a cave. The night outside is deep and cold. Children sleep beside the flames, and a woman with careful hands shapes clay. She shapes the round belly of the mother. She shapes the breasts heavy with milk. She shapes the curve of hips wide as the horizon. She presses the clay into being, and when it is dry, she holds it close. A prayer without words, a song without sound. To her, the mother is everywhere. In the rains that fall, in the seeds that sprout, in the sun that rises, and in the moon that glows softly above. The earliest people believed that life was a circle, that as seeds died into the ground, so too would they rise again. The goddess was that circle, the endless return, the dawn that followed night. Close your eyes and see the stars above the open plain. Feel the cool wind across the grasses, and in that stillness, sense the ancient breath of the earth. She was not seen as distant, not as far away in unreachable heavens. She was near. She was soil. She was milk. She was womb. The earth itself was holy. The caves were her chambers. The rivers were her flowing hair. The mountains her bones. The sky her great embrace. As time passed, the figures of the mother spread across lands, from the snowy hills of Europe to the valleys of Anatolia, from the rivers of Mesopotamia to the deserts beyond. Everywhere the people honored her. Some gave her many names. Some gave her no name at all, only silence and reverence. But always, she was the giver. Always, she was the one who renewed the circle. Imagine walking through a meadow where ancient stones rise in a ring. Their purpose now is half forgotten, but their spirit is still alive. They stand as guardians of time, and at the center of the ring, one might place the image of the mother, to honor her with the rising sun, to ask her for the gift of harvest, to whisper thanks for the turning of the seasons. The goddess was never far. She was the seasons themselves. Her breath was spring, her heart was summer, her sorrow was autumn, and her rest was winter. In the still silence of night, let us listen to one story that has echoed since the beginning, the story of life as a daughter, always leaving and returning, a daughter who walks into the shadows of earth and later rises back into the light. This pattern lives in every seed, in every harvest, in every moon that fades and returns. Long before the names of Demeter or Inanna, long before Isis, this story was told in another way. It was felt, not spoken. It was breathed, not written. It was carried in the beating hearts of those who lived close to the soil. The people knew, all that dies returns, all that is buried rises, and so the mother is eternal, always losing, always gaining, always mourning, always rejoicing. She is the dawn that follows the longest night. She is the green shoot rising after frost. The dawn of the goddess is the dawn of hope. For in her image, humanity saw not only life's fragility, but its endless renewal. She taught them to trust the rhythm of the earth. She taught them that endings are beginnings, that darkness is a passage, not a prison, that stillness is a doorway to rebirth. Close your eyes now. Let the circle unfold before you. See the tiny clay figure. See the fields of grain swaying golden in the sun. See the river winding slow, carrying her blessing. See the moon glowing pale, her soft eye watching over you. And so the first chapter of humankind's faith was written, not in books, but in soil, not in stone tablets, but in the flowing of rivers and the beating of hearts. The dawn of the goddess was the dawn of remembering that life is sacred, that every breath is a gift, that every return is a miracle. You are resting now in that ancient memory. You are part of that circle. You are part of her breath, her soil, her endless dawn. Let us drift onward, carried gently as the stars return to their silent glow, and the goddess whispers softly through the night. In Egypt, the goddess Isis rises on silver wings, her name sung by sailors and healers alike. We drift into her sacred stories of love, protection, and the secrets she carried in her ancient hymns. The night is calm. The desert breathes in silence. Soft winds move over the sand, shaping quiet waves that glisten beneath the moon. Above, the stars spread like jewels across the dark sky, countless and eternal. Somewhere far away, the slow hush of the Nile flows. Its waters glimmer, carrying stories as old as time itself. It is here, in this sacred land, that Isis is remembered. Mother of magic, goddess of love, protector of life, her name whispered in temples, her wings stretched across heaven and earth. Imagine standing before the river at dusk. The air is warm yet gentle. Lotus flowers open, releasing their faint fragrance. Palm trees bend slightly, their leaves swaying like quiet hands. And in the glow of twilight, a temple rises, carved with stories, walls alive with song. On its stone pillars, Isis appears with wings wide as dawn. Her crown holds the sun between two horns, glowing like eternal fire. She is not only a goddess of the sky, but also of the heart. She is both strength and tenderness, both healer and mother, both magician and queen. Those who lived along the Nile turned to her for comfort. Sailors prayed for her wings to guide their ships across restless waters. Mothers whispered her name for protection. Healers called upon her for power. Kings honored her as queen of gods, yet she was close to the humblest soul. Her story begins in love, for Isis was the wife of Osiris, the green god of rebirth, lord of the fertile Nile. Together they ruled with harmony. Their bond was deep, flowing like water, steady as earth. But even the most sacred unions faced trials. Jealousy stirred in Set, the brother of Osiris, and in secret he struck with cruelty, ending Osiris's life and scattering his body across the land. The world grew heavy with sorrow. The Nile darkened, the crops bent low, but Isis did not surrender to grief. With patient devotion, she searched the deserts, the marshes, the rivers. She gathered every piece of her beloved. Her wings beat like the wind itself. Her song, soft as the night, carried through the reeds. When at last she restored him, Osiris rose again, not to walk the earth, but to reign over the hidden realm of the dead. Through her love, death became passage. Through her devotion, life gained renewal. This story was more than a tale. It was a mirror for the people. The setting of the sun each night was Osiris's death. The rising of dawn was Isis's prayer answered. The yearly flooding of the Nile was her tears, falling to make the land fertile once more. The rhythm of Egypt itself followed her eternal song. Isis was not only wife and mother, but magician. Her magic was love. Her strength was care. She knew the secret names of the gods, and with those names she could heal the sick, restore breath to the lost, and bring comfort to the living. Imagine now, a healer in ancient Egypt. The air smells of resin and herbs. Oil lamps flicker against painted walls. A child rests upon a mat, fevered and weak. The healer kneels, eyes closed, whispering the hymns of Isis. In the stillness, the mother goddess is near. Her wings unfold like cool shade over the child. Her voice flows through the healer's own breath. The fever lifts, like smoke fading into night. To those who believed, Isis was not far away. She was as close as water to thirst, as close as breath to lungs, as close as a lullaby to the weary. Travel now to the shore. The waves lap softly against wooden boats. Fishermen prepare to sail, faces lifted toward the sky. They whisper her name, Isis, guide us. The sails rise like wings. The wind fills them, and as they drift upon the waters, they feel her presence in the current. Her wings spread wide, steadying their journey. For she was guardian of sailors, keeper of safe passage. Her protection stretched beyond Egypt. Her worship spread across seas, to Greece, to Rome, and far beyond. Wherever her name traveled, she was honored, not as distant but as near, not as a queen above, but as a mother beside. Close your eyes now, and picture her wings. They shimmer like silver in moonlight. They carry both shadow and light. They hold sorrow and they hold joy. She gathers the broken pieces of the world, the scattered fragments of hearts, and with patient hands, she restores them. She whispers, life is never lost. Love never dies. Every ending is only another form of beginning. And so the people trusted her. In loss, they called her name. In hope, they sang her hymns. In fear, they rested beneath her wings. Her magic was not fire or thunder. It was gentler, deeper. The magic of remembrance. The magic of care. She was proof that the strongest power in the universe is love itself. That healing comes not from conquest, but from devotion. That even in death, there is renewal. And in every temple, her statues stood, not with weapons, but with open arms. Her throne-shaped crown a sign of sovereignty. Her milk said to nourish even kings. Her image carved on amulets, carried close to the heart, a promise of protection. Now let the story soften. The stars wheel slowly above the desert. The Nile hums with its eternal current. The reeds sway as if in quiet prayer. And Isis drifts across the sky, her wings silver against the dark. She is near you too, in this moment of rest. She folds her wings gently around your spirit. She reminds you that you are safe, that loss can become renewal, that endings are only doors into light. Breathe slowly, as if the Nile itself moves through you. Feel the calm as her song passes by like wind through lotus blossoms. Let her presence be the lullaby of your sleep. Now rest as the temple doors close softly in the night. Now rest as her hymn fades like a whisper across the river. Now rest as her silver wings carry you into dream. Let us drift onward, for the stars are returning. From Sumer we follow Inanna, the Queen of Heaven, as she descends into the shadowed underworld. Her story of loss, transformation, and return becomes a mirror of life's seasons. Night gathers like a velvet cloak. The stars shimmer softly, scattered like tiny lamps across the endless sky. The desert air is still, heavy with silence, touched only by the faint breath of wind. In the distance, the outline of ancient ziggurats rises, their steps reaching toward the heavens. Their stones remember prayers whispered thousands of years ago. Close your eyes. Feel the hush of twilight. Sense the soft weight of history around you. Here in the land of Sumer, a story unfolds, a story carved deep into human memory. It is the tale of Inanna, Queen of Heaven and Earth. Inanna was radiant. She was the morning star, gleaming with the light of Venus. She was goddess of love and war, of fertility and power. Her crown glittered with starlight. Her robes shimmered like the dawn. And yet within her shining, there was a longing, a call from beneath, deep in the hidden shadows of the world. For in Sumer, life was seen as a balance. Above lay the heavens. Upon the earth humans labored and rejoiced, and below stretched the underworld, silent and vast, ruled by her sister, Ereshkigal. To know the fullness of existence, Inanna would have to descend, to step into darkness, to leave behind her radiance, one veil at a time. Picture her now, standing at the threshold of the great below. The gates rise before her, 7 in number, each guarded and sealed. Behind them waits shadow, stillness, and the throne of her sister. Inanna prepares herself. She adorns her body with sacred emblems of power. Upon her head, a shining crown. Around her neck, beads of lapis lazuli. Across her chest, a breastplate of light. In her hands, rings and scepter. Upon her body, robes of majesty. Each piece is a symbol of her strength, her place as Queen of Heaven. And with these, she approaches the first gate. The gatekeeper speaks, voice heavy as stone. To enter, you must give up your crown. She bows her head. The crown is taken. Her radiance dims, but she steps forward. At the second gate, her necklace is taken. At the third, her breastplate. At the fourth, her scepter. At the fifth, her rings. At the sixth, her robes. At the seventh, all that remains. One by one, her adornments fall away, until Inanna stands bare, stripped of power, stripped of glory. The Queen of Heaven enters the realm of shadows as a mortal, vulnerable, and unguarded. This descent is not only her journey, but the journey of all life. It is the falling of leaves in autumn. It is the fading of the sun into night. It is the silence before renewal. Inanna enters the throne room of Ereshkigal, her sister. Ereshkigal sits cloaked in sorrow, her face fierce and cold, for she is ruler of the great below. When Inanna dares to stand before her, the judgment is harsh. The Queen of Heaven is struck down. Her body hangs lifeless, a shadow among shadows, and for a time the world above withers. The fields fall barren, the songs fall silent. The rivers seem still, for without Inanna, life itself falters. Yet this was not the end, for even in silence there is waiting. Even in stillness there is unseen motion. Inanna's faithful servants carried word to the heavens. They sought help, calling upon wisdom and compassion. Small beings born of clay and water descended with gifts of empathy. They did not fight. They did not command. They only listened. They bowed to Ereshkigal, who wept in her grief, and they honored her sorrow. Touched by their gentleness, Ereshkigal softened. And so Inanna was released, allowed to rise again. Her body was restored, her spirit renewed. She ascended through the gates once more. At each gate, her ornaments were returned. The crown placed upon her head, the necklace laid upon her chest, the robes wrapped around her body. Step by step, she reclaimed her power. But she was no longer the same. She had walked through death, through loss, through shadow, and in returning she carried with her the wisdom of descent. The people of Sumer saw in her story the truth of all things. The seed must fall into the earth before it can rise again. The moon must vanish before it returns full and bright. The heart must break before it knows the fullness of love. Inanna's descent became a sacred rhythm. It mirrored the turning of seasons, the falling of harvest, the quiet of winter, the rising of spring. It was the reminder that life is not a straight line, but a circle, a journey downward and upward, loss and renewal, death and rebirth. Close your eyes now and feel that rhythm in your own breath. The exhale, a descent into stillness. The inhale, a return into light. Every breath is its own cycle. Every night gives way to dawn. Inanna's story was whispered for centuries. It was sung beside fires. It was carved upon clay tablets. It was remembered in rituals that honored the balance of above and below. And though her journey was one of loss, it was also one of return. She teaches that to surrender is not to end. To fall is not to vanish. To enter shadow is not to lose the light. It is to prepare for the moment of rising. Now the night deepens around you. The stars glow steady. The river of time flows softly. Inanna rises from the underworld, her silver crown gleaming once more. She smiles gently, carrying both the shadow she endured and the light she reclaimed. Her story is your story too. Every descent you have faced, every silence, every sorrow, all carry within them the seed of return, the seed of dawn, the promise of renewal. Rest in that truth. Rest in the rhythm of her descent and return. Rest as the gates close softly behind her and the world breathes once more. Now drift, carried on the quiet river of night. Let the stars fold around you like a cloak. Let the silence soothe you, gentle as sleep. For Inanna has descended, and Inanna has risen. And her story moves through you, tender as the turning of seasons. Let us drift onward. High in the mountains of Greece, the oracle's voice carried the whispers of Apollo. Yet behind the smoke and prophecy were women, priestesses who bridged the divine and mortal. The night drapes itself across the mountains like a deep indigo veil. Stars scatter across the high sky, their glow steady and ancient. Below, valleys sleep in silence. Only the soft rush of pine trees and the distant murmur of water move through the air. You are carried gently into this place, into the heart of Greece, where the slopes of Mount Parnassus rise toward the heavens. Here, at Delphi, stood a sanctuary unlike any other, stones polished by countless feet, columns reaching skyward pale against the night. And in the quiet center of it all, a temple, the dwelling of Apollo, god of light, of music, of prophecy. This was the place where mortals sought to hear the voice of the divine. And it was through women, the priestesses, that the voice was carried. Step softly into the temple. The air is heavy with fragrance, laurel leaves and smoke from a sacred fire. Torches flicker, shadows dance upon marble walls. The night outside falls away. Within, time feels slower, softer, like the steady breath of a sleeping world. At the heart of this sacred space sat the Pythia, the oracle. She was no queen, no warrior. She was a woman chosen, set apart. Seated upon a simple tripod above a hollow in the earth, she breathed in vapors rising from the deep, and as her eyes softened and her voice swayed, words poured forth, believed to be the whispers of Apollo himself. But behind the smoke, behind the mystery, were lives, women of flesh and spirit, the priestesses of Delphi, keepers of silence, carriers of vision. Imagine the mornings here, the mountain air cold and clear, the temple quiet before pilgrims arrive. The priestesses move softly, gathering water from the Castalian spring. They wash their hands in its flowing stream, letting the chill awaken their senses. For water was more than cleansing. It was renewal, a baptism before speaking with gods. Then, in procession, they bring laurel branches, freshly cut, to lay upon the altar. Laurel, the tree of Apollo. Its leaves shine in torchlight, its fragrance sharp, sweet, and holy. The rustle of the leaves is like a secret, like a whisper carried by wind. People journeyed from far lands to stand here, kings and shepherds, merchants and wanderers. Each came with a question heavy in their hearts. They waited for days, sometimes weeks, offering sacrifices, singing hymns, preparing their minds. And then, when the time was right, they would step inside the temple, face the oracle, and listen. The Pythia would close her eyes. Her breath would deepen. Her words would come in fragments, soft and flowing, like water moving through stone. Priests would stand nearby, shaping the fragments into lines, into poetry, into answers. And so the voice of Apollo was heard. Mysterious, gentle, never fully clear. Yet beneath this mystery, imagine the life of the women themselves. They lived here, high in the mountains, apart from the busy noise of cities. Their days moved with rhythm, chanting, tending the altar flame, listening to wind against the stones. Their voices rose in hymns, soft as breath, carried into the open sky. At night, when the pilgrims slept in the courtyards below, the priestesses sat together in silence. The stars above them were bright, unbroken by city lamps. They would look to the constellations, those ancient guides, and feel both small and vast at once. Perhaps they whispered to one another in low tones, sharing fragments of dreams, fragments of visions. Perhaps they simply listened to the mountains, to the air, to the stillness between each sound. The oracle was not simply one woman, but a tradition spanning centuries. One voice, then another, like a river flowing through time. Each priestess gave her breath, her body, her silence to the role. And when her time ended, another stepped into the place, carrying the line onward. The people believed Apollo spoke through them, yet the gift was not in clarity, but in mystery. The oracle did not give commands. She offered possibilities, symbols, paths hidden in words. Like the turning of smoke, her voice reminded mortals that the divine is never fixed, never simple, but always shifting, like light on water. In this way, the priestesses lived between two worlds. They were mortal with human hearts and quiet longings, and yet they were vessels of the divine, touched by the God of light. Each day they bridged earth and heaven, carrying whispers across the veil. The sanctuary itself mirrored this bridge. High upon the slopes, it looked both downward to the valleys of men and upward to the endless sky. The stones themselves seemed to breathe with presence. Even now, long after their voices have faded, one can stand among the ruins and feel the stillness, the lingering hush of prophecy. Close your eyes and imagine the sound of a single priestess singing. Her voice rises in a slow chant, deep and steady. The tone is simple, almost like a lullaby. It echoes through the temple columns, drifting outward into the night air. The song is not for mortals, but for the God who listens. Yet still it soothes all who hear it, carrying peace like a flowing stream. The mountain wind answers with its own hymn, weaving through pines, brushing over stones. Together, voice and wind create a chorus, mortal and eternal, soft, endless, calm. The stories of Delphi remind us that wisdom is often a mystery. That truth does not always arrive as a straight path. Sometimes it comes like mist, like dream, like fragments carried in the dark. The priestesses remind us that listening is as holy as speaking. That silence itself can become a bridge to something greater. Their lives were not filled with battle or glory. They lived quietly, in service, in patience. Yet their presence shaped kings and guided nations. Their whispers were enough to turn rivers of history. Now the night deepens. The sanctuary is still. The pilgrims have departed, the torches have burned low. Only the stars remain, their light steady above the mountain. The priestesses rest within the temple walls, their breathing soft, their hearts quiet. Let the image linger with you. The silent mountain, the temple bathed in starlight. The women of Delphi, guardians of mystery, resting after long days of prophecy, their voices fading into night, like embers cooling in the dark. And so you may rest as well. Rest in the rhythm of their stillness. Rest in the quiet song of the mountain. Rest in the truth that every question need not be answered tonight. Some can drift like mist, waiting for dawn. Now breathe as the priestesses breathed, slow, calm, steady. Let the mountain cradle you, its silence deep and endless. Let us drift onward into night's gentle arms. Now rest as the stars return to their eternal watch. We sit among golden fields as Demeter mourns her lost daughter Persephone. Her sorrow, her hope, and her healing breath created the rhythm of the harvest itself. The night is tender. The fields are hushed beneath a veil of starlight. Each stalk of grain bends slightly as if listening to the silence of the earth. The wind drifts softly, carrying with it the scent of ripened wheat and cool soil. You are carried into this place, into a world where the golden harvest breathes in harmony with the pulse of a goddess. Here, in the stillness, one can almost hear her steps. Demeter, guardian of fields and fruit, mother of green life and golden grain. She walks among furrows and roots, her presence gentle yet vast. Where her fingers brush, seeds stir, and where her gaze lingers, blossoms rise. But tonight the goddess walks slowly, for her heart is heavy with memory, with love, with grief. Once the earth was always in bloom. The days shone with steady warmth, and fruit weighed heavy on the branches. The rivers laughed as they rushed through meadows, and flowers opened their faces to every dawn. This was the gift of Demeter, the blessing of her joy. For in her daughter Persephone, she found light beyond light, love beyond measure. Persephone, with her laughter like bells in the morning. Persephone who danced among flowers, her feet tracing circles in soft grass. She was the spring itself, embodied in gentle form. Where she moved, the earth quickened, and Demeter's heart was whole. But every tale holds a turning. There came a day when the ground trembled. A chariot dark and swift rose from beneath the earth, and in a moment Persephone was gone, drawn into the underworld, claimed by shadow. The meadow grew silent, the blossoms withered, and Demeter's joy turned to grief. She searched the earth in sorrow, through forests and mountains, across deserts and seas. Everywhere she wandered, calling her daughter's name into the wind. The rivers hushed at her sorrow. The trees bent low, offering no comfort, and the fields turned barren, for the mother's heart had grown cold with loss. Days became weeks. Weeks became seasons. Without Demeter's blessing, the earth could not bear fruit. Grain withered before it ripened. The soil cracked. The people grew weary, their stores empty, their prayers rising into the quiet sky. Yet still Demeter searched. Her feet carried her into every hidden valley, into every shadowed grove. She walked with torches burning in her hands, her flames lighting the path of longing. Even the night itself seemed to bow to her grief, dimming its stars in mourning. And yet, even in her sorrow, she was not forgotten. The other gods watched her wandering. They saw the world falter in her absence, the earth turning quiet without her touch. It was then that a path opened. Zeus, king of heaven, sought to mend what was broken. Messengers were sent, agreements woven, and at last a compromise was shaped. Gentle as dawn, Persephone would return, but not always. Part of the year she would dwell with her mother, walking once more among fields and flowers. The rest she would descend again into the underworld, seated as queen beside Hades. And so the rhythm of seasons was born. When Persephone returned, the world awakened. Seeds stretched toward the sun. Blossoms opened in fragrance and color. Demeter's heart lifted, and with her joy came spring and summer, a time of plenty and warmth. When Persephone departed, the earth grieved with Demeter. Leaves turned gold, fields emptied, and winter lay across the land like a blanket of silence. Yet even in this sorrow there was promise. for Demeter knew her daughter would rise again, and with her, life would return. This cycle, born of grief and love, still breathes through every harvest. The turning of seasons is her song, loss and return, sorrow and joy, death and rebirth. Each ear of wheat carries the memory. Each apple, each grape, each grain of rice whispers her story. Demeter's grief was never erased, but it became gentle, woven into the pattern of time. Her love was not broken by absence. Instead, it shaped the very rhythm of the world. Through her sorrow, humanity learned the sacredness of patience, of waiting, of trusting the return of light. Close your eyes and imagine sitting in a golden field at dusk. The stalks of wheat sway like a soft sea, their tips glowing in the fading sun. In the distance, a mother and daughter walk hand in hand. Their forms glow faintly, woven of myth and memory. The mother bends low, gathering her child close. The daughter smiles, her presence like dawn breaking overnight. And the field sighs with life once more. This vision is not bound by time. It lingers in every seed, in every harvest, in every cycle of growth and rest. Demeter's gentle grief is not a story of loss alone. It is a story of return, of renewal, of love that shapes the turning of the world. The wind moves softly now. The night deepens. The fields rest in stillness, holding the memory of countless seasons. Overhead, the stars glow steady, their rhythm echoing the rhythm of the earth. And in that vast quiet, Demeter rests too. Her breath calm, her heart steady, the earth safe beneath her watch. Let yourself rest with her. Rest in the knowledge that cycles continue, that sorrow softens, that love endures beyond absence. Rest in the golden breath of the fields, in the hush of the night, in the eternal rhythm of the goddess. Let us drift onward, into the silence of the harvest night. Now rest, as the stars return to their gentle watch. The night is quiet. The air is cool, as though the earth itself has exhaled and settled into stillness. Above, the sky opens like a dark ocean, scattered with stars that shimmer as gentle companions for the traveler who drifts beneath them. The world is hushed, resting, and yet there is a presence, subtle but steady. A faint glow, the shimmer of torchlight dancing in the distance. This is where she waits. At the meeting place of paths, at the edges where one road divides into two, Hecate, the keeper of crossroads, the goddess who knows the secret ways of night. Her steps are silent, her presence tender yet strong, like the calm flame of a lamp carried through endless darkness. Hecate has long been a companion to wanderers, to seekers, and to souls who pause in uncertainty. She does not force direction. She does not command. Instead, she offers light enough to soften the dark and space enough for choice to bloom. The ancients told of her as a guardian of thresholds, between worlds, between times, between who one was and who one may become. Her torches mark the liminal places where silence grows thick and shadows stretch long. At the edge of every decision, she is near. Her dog's silent watchers rest at her side. Her gaze is steady, though never harsh. It is the gaze of one who sees and accepts and waits. Imagine walking through a forest beneath the moon. The branches above weave a canopy of silver and black. The ground is soft beneath your steps, a carpet of leaves that hushes every sound. And then the space opens, a clearing, a place where three paths meet. The air feels different here, as though time itself has slowed. There she stands, her cloak dark as the night, yet her torches glow with amber light. They do not burn with violence. They do not scorch. Instead, they flicker with a warm rhythm, steady and calm, like a heartbeat in flame. You feel safe in her presence, for she does not press answers upon you. She does not bind you to one path or the other. She simply illuminates the ways that lie ahead. Each road glows softly beneath her torches, each path carrying its own quiet promise. Hecate has always belonged to the places in between. To thresholds, doorways, and crossings, she is the whisper heard in dreams, the spark of intuition that nudges without words, the soft hand that steadies you when you stand between fear and courage. Her mysteries were honored in secret rites under the veils of night. Torches lifted, offerings left at the crossroads. Simple foods, bread, honey, eggs, garlic, placed with care, not in fear, but in respect. For she was seen not as a terror of night, but as a gentle protector, a guide to the unseen. Close your eyes now and listen to the night as it folds around her. The rustle of leaves, the whisper of distant water, the breath of wind that curls through grass and stone. In this stillness, Hecate's light does not disturb. It soothes. It eases the heavy dark into something soft, like a blanket drawn across the sky. The ancients believed she walked not only the roads of earth, but also the paths of stars and the hidden passages of spirit. When the moon was thin, a sliver of silver, she was closest. Her torches carried through the unseen places, through shadowed valleys of the soul. For where light is scarce, the smallest flame feels eternal. There is no rush here, no demand to choose. At the crossroads, time itself feels patient. Every choice can wait. Every turn holds its own beauty. Hecate's lesson is one of trust, that even in the darkness, you are not abandoned. That even at a threshold, when the way forward feels uncertain, you are not lost. Her presence is a reminder. The night is not an enemy, but a place of rest and renewal. A place where the spirit can pause, breathe, and gather before moving on. Think of how the ancients walked under the stars. No lamps but the moon, no maps but memory. When they reached a crossing of roads, they would feel the quiet weight of choice. And yet, with Hecate near, the fear of the unknown softened. The torchlight calmed the trembling heart. The night became not a void, but a space alive with quiet possibility. Even now, in your rest, you stand at a kind of threshold, the border between waking and sleep, the edge where thought dissolves into dream. Here too Hecate lingers, her flame steady, her presence close. Let her torches guide you deeper. The glow flickers like stars fallen to earth, leading you along a gentle descent. Every step feels lighter, every breath more spacious. The night wraps around you like a mother's shawl, soft, protective, unhurried. Her dogs stir quietly at her feet. One yawns, a sound as gentle as a sigh. Another curls against the earth, eyes half closed, watching only to ensure you are safe. Even the guardians of shadow rest when she is near. In her myths, Hecate was not bound to one realm alone. She moved between earth, sea, and sky. She guided Persephone when the maiden descended to the underworld. Her torches lit the way through the shadowed halls, a comfort in the silence of the deep. She was present at the borders of birth and death, at the tender places of change, and so her wisdom is soft but deep, that life is woven with threshold. Moments of crossing, moments of pause, moments when the next step feels veiled. And in those moments, you are not alone. Her flame is beside you, her patience endless, her guidance silent but sure. Now the clearing grows dim again. The paths stretch outward, fading into night, but the torches still glow, steady, alive. They remind you that darkness does not erase the way, it only softens it, giving rest until the time is right to move. Listen. The night sings softly now, the hum of crickets, the whisper of grass, the faint sigh of wind. It is a hymn older than memory, carried on the breath of the earth. Hecate stands within it, a figure of stillness, of balance, of gentle care. As you rest here, let the flame of her torches ease the mind. Imagine their light like warm stars held in human hands. They do not dazzle. They do not blind. They glow with enough brightness to comfort, to steady, to remind you. Every road, every dream, every step has its moment. There is no need to decide now. No need to rush forward. Like the ancients at the crossroads, you may simply rest in the presence of the goddess who waits, who watches, who guides. The torches flicker, and the night grows even softer. You feel yourself drifting. Your body sinks into stillness. Your breath becomes slow, like waves on a quiet shore. And in this drifting, you know the truth Hecate carries. That thresholds are not endings, but gentle beginnings. That night is not emptiness, but a cradle. That darkness is not loss, but rest. So let the crossroads fade into dream. Let the goddess stand watch, her flame unwavering. Her dogs curl beside her, her gaze steady, her patience eternal. The night will hold you, the stars will keep you, and Hecate's light will guide you ever deeper into peace. Now rest as the torches dim into memory. Now rest as the stars return to their silence. Now rest as the crossroads dissolve into dream. Hecate remains, at every threshold, a keeper of gentle flame. Let us drift onward, into quiet sleep. The city is quiet. Night stretches across its rooftops, drawing shadows along marble walls and silent streets. The moon leans low, silvering the stones, softening the grandeur of the empire into something hushed and human. Even the Tiber flows gently, its waters calm, like a lullaby that is carried through centuries. At the heart of this stillness lies a flame, A single fire, tender yet eternal. It glows in the temple of Vesta, keeper of the hearth, mother of warmth. And around it, in silence and devotion, the Vestal virgins keep watch. Theirs was no ordinary duty, for in that fire, Rome saw its own heartbeat. It was said that as long as the flame lived, the city itself would stand. And so, night after night, year after year, the guardians of that sacred hearth tended it with reverence. They walked barefoot upon cool stones. They carried wood with gentle hands. They whispered prayers that rose like smoke into the still air. And always, their care was steady. The fire never faltered. The Vestals were chosen as children, taken from noble families, not for wealth, but for promise. They would serve for 30 years, a lifetime stretched across youth, middle age, and maturity. 30 years of devotion, in silence, and in strength. In those years, they were not bound by household or marriage. They belonged to the fire, to the goddess, to the city. Their lives were not loud, not adorned with triumphs of war or wealth, and yet, in their quiet way, they held the empire itself in balance. Picture them, moving through the temple at dawn. The sun has just begun to touch the horizon, spilling soft gold across the marble steps. The city stirs faintly in the distance, carts creaking, voices rising, but here, within these walls, the sound is of crackling flame. The Vestals move like shadows, robes of white flowing, veils soft as clouds. Their faces are serene, their eyes steady. They place laurel branches into the fire, watching as sparks rise like stars returning to the sky. They sweep the hearth, not with haste but with care. Their every motion is measured, almost like a prayer in itself. Each act a thread, weaving devotion into the life of Rome. The people honored them deeply. In the streets, when a Vestal passed, crowds would part. The touch of her robe was thought to bless, to heal, to protect. If a prisoner bound for death crossed her path, his life could be spared. Such was the power of the sacred flame she carried within her presence. Yet, theirs was not power of sword or crown. It was the quiet power of guardianship. The strength of those who hold steady, who tend without rest, who keep the fragile alive. Theirs was the strength of mothers, though many bore no children of their own. They were mothers of the city itself. In their long years of service, the Vestals lived apart. Their home, the Atrium Vestae, stretched wide with gardens, pools, and quiet chambers. Fountains whispered softly in the courtyards. Olive trees bent their branches in the breeze. It was a sanctuary, a place of stillness in the midst of a bustling empire. There, the Vestals studied rituals. They learned chants and prayers older than memory. They prepared offerings, ground meal, poured milk, tended sacred water drawn from pure springs. Every act bound them closer to Vesta, the goddess of the hearth, whose fire was more than warmth. It was the symbol of family, of safety, of Rome's unbroken life. The goddess Vesta herself was not depicted in statues or grand carvings. She was not shown as warrior or queen. Her presence was simpler, quieter. She was the flame itself, and so the Vestals reflected her spirit, unseen but essential, silent but strong. Their lives became mirrors of the fire they protected. Imagine now the stillness of their temple at midnight. The city outside has sunk into slumber. The markets are empty, the taverns dim, the streets shadowed. But here, at the heart of Rome, the flame glows. Its warmth flickers across marble walls, painting them in gold and amber. One Vestal kneels near the hearth. Her hands are folded, her head bowed. She listens not for voices, not for signs, but for the steady hum of fire itself. The crackle is like breath, the glow like a heartbeat. She feels it deep within her chest. Another approaches, carrying fresh wood. Together they lay it gently upon the coals. The fire accepts it, rising a little brighter, never hurried, always calm. The women do not speak. They need no words. The flame itself is their language, their prayer, their answer. For centuries, this service continued. Generations of Vestals came and went, their names forgotten by time, but their devotion remembered in the survival of Rome. They were witnesses to triumphs and trials, to emperors and invasions, to feast and famine. Yet through it all the fire burned. It was not the roar of conquest that kept the city alive. It was this, the quiet tending, the daily care, the unseen guardians who kept the sacred flame. The myth of Rome often speaks of soldiers, of rulers, of laws carved in stone. But beneath all of that was this gentler truth. Civilization rests not only on strength of arms, but on strength of spirit. Not only on the walls built outside, but on the fire guarded within. The Vestals embodied that truth. They were Rome's silent center, its mothers in white, its keepers of light. Now, let your mind rest within that temple. The air warm, the flame steady, the marble cool beneath your feet. The night is deep, but the fire is constant. It does not waver. It does not fade. Breathe with it. Inhale with the glow. Exhale with the crackle. The flame becomes your rhythm, your anchor, your rest. See how it dances, not wildly, not fiercely, but softly. A candle against the dark, a hearth for the soul. The Vestals stand beside it, veils lifted gently by the night air. They are calm, serene, their presence as quiet as the flame itself. They do not hurry you. They do not press you. They only keep watch, steady and sure. And in their silence, you find your own.
A silence that soothes.
A silence that heals. The city sleeps. The Tiber flows on. The stars drift slowly overhead. But within the temple, the fire holds steady, just as it has for centuries. The Vestals remain, tending, guarding, breathing in rhythm with the flame. So, too, you may rest now. Let the warmth cradle you. Let the steady glow guide you. Let the mothers of Rome keep watch as your own mind drifts. The flame does not end. It passes from hand to hand, from generation to generation, from waking to dream. And now, as your eyes grow heavy, it burns for you as well, not to demand, not to burden, but to soothe. The fire is eternal. The night is gentle. The guardians are near. Now rest as the temple quiets. Now rest as the city breathes in slumber. Now rest as the flame steadies your dreams. Let us drift onward, into sleep, into peace, into the glow of the eternal hearth. The desert breathes slowly. A gentle night wind drifts across golden sands, cool and steady after the long heat of day. The moon hangs like a pearl above the horizon, softening the sharp edges of stone temples and quiet dunes. Stars shimmer faintly, as if listening, as if waiting for a story to rise. From the stillness, a sound begins. It is not loud, not hurried, but tender and sweet. The strum of strings, the murmur of flutes, the soft beat of a hand upon skin. Music glides across the night air, carrying warmth, carrying joy. And at its heart, there is Hathor, lady of love, of music, of gentle laughter. She is the goddess who holds both the cradle and the song. She is the dancer beneath the sky. She is the mother who nourishes, the friend who comforts, the bright one who restores peace. In Egypt, she was called the Golden One. Her temples were filled with music, with singing, with the scent of flowers placed upon polished stone. Her image was crowned with horns within which rested the shining disk of the sun, a symbol of life, of light, of unending care. Those who looked to her did not only ask for abundance, they sought joy itself, the kind of joy that softens sorrow, the kind that flows like music into tired hearts. When festivals were held in her honor, the cities glowed. Women shook sistrums, their bronze rattles chiming like gentle rain. Men played harps whose strings shimmered under the sun. The people danced, moved, laughed. For to honor Hathor was to honor life, not through silence or solemnity, but through song and through celebration. She was not distant, not cold. She was near, always near. In every mother's lullaby, she was present. In the rhythm of feet upon earth, she was there. In the laughter that rose around a table, in the clink of cups, in the hum of shared joy, all of it was her. To her, music was not only sound. It was medicine. It was a balm to weary bodies and troubled minds. The sistrum's gentle shake could calm storms of spirit. The harp's tender chord could carry sorrow away like a leaf upon the Nile. But Hathor was more than joy alone. She was also the nourisher, the giver of life. Her milk was said to feed kings, granting strength to rule with balance. Her embrace was said to comfort the dead, guiding them gently into the afterlife. In one tale, she was the great cow of heaven, her body forming the sky itself, her vast form sheltering the earth beneath. Her eyes shone like stars. Her breath moved as the wind. Her great heart beat with kindness, steady and eternal. Imagine her temple at Dendera, rising pale and tall against the blue of the sky, its columns carved with her face, serene and smiling, ears like those of a cow, a symbol of motherly care, of gentleness without end. Step into that temple and the air cools. Shadows fall soft upon the stone. Candles flicker in rows, their flames dancing like tiny stars. Priestesses move slowly, robes trailing, voices chanting low. The sound swells, not hurried but flowing like water from a spring. Their words are hymns, praises to the Lady of Joy. Every note drifts upward, joining the carved ceilings where Hathor's image gazes down with calm eyes. And in the midst of it all, you hear the sistrum again. Its voice is gentle, silver, like the wings of a bird gliding across water. It shakes softly, clearing the air, washing away heaviness. Those who prayed to Hathor came not only with requests, but with offerings of beauty. They brought garlands of lotus, sweet-smelling oils, and small figurines carved with care. They offered music, poems, laughter itself. For what she loved most was the joy of life in all its forms. Sailors called upon her when they set out upon uncertain waters. Mothers whispered her name as they cradled their children. Lovers asked for her blessing as they wove their lives together. And those weary of heart sought her to remember how to smile again. In ancient stories, when the sun god Ra wept, Hathor was sent to soothe him. Her laughter, her dance, her music lifted his spirit, and the sun shone bright once more. She was the gentle healer of gods as well as of mortals. Her gift was always the same, a reminder that life, even with sorrow, holds beauty worth cherishing. Picture now a festival night in her honor. The air is warm. The stars scatter like jewels across the heavens. Torches glow along the riverbanks, their flames mirrored in the dark waters of the Nile. Men play drums that echo softly, steady as a heartbeat. Women shake sistrums, their hands graceful, their smiles radiant. Children laugh, their voices ringing like tiny bells. The whole city feels alive, bathed in music and in joy. And at the center, unseen yet deeply felt, is Hathor. Her presence flows through the rhythm, through the laughter, through the sway of bodies in dance. She is the pulse of life itself. But even in the quiet hours, when the festival fades, she remains. When silence settles, when the streets grow empty, her warmth lingers like an ember. Her gift is not only in the celebration, it is in the gentle comfort of knowing joy can return. For Hathor teaches that joy is not loudness. It is not constant laughter or endless music. It is the soft light that remains even in the darkest night. It is the memory of a song carried in the heart. It is the quiet smile that returns after tears. Now imagine yourself beneath her sky, the stars above, the earth beneath, and the wide embrace of Hathor surrounding you. You feel her presence in the hush of night, in the faint hum of your own breath, in the way your heart steadies, like a drum finding its rhythm again. She is near with a gentle smile. Her hands hold light. Her voice hums a melody that feels older than memory, softer than sleep. It carries you, rocking you as though you were a child in a cradle of stars. The night deepens, the festival fades, but her song continues, steady as the Nile. It flows into your breath, into your chest, into your dreams. Hathor, Lady of Joy, keeper of song, nourisher of kings and dreamers alike, leans close. Her laughter is gentle, not bright and sharp, but warm and soothing, like the softest chime of silver. Her gift is rest. Her gift is peace. So let yourself drift now. Let her music carry you. Let her smile comfort you. Let her embrace hold you steady, like the great sky cow who cradles the earth in her vast and tender form. The sands grow still. The Nile flows on. The stars shimmer quietly, and Hathor remains, shining, smiling, eternal. Now rest as her song cradles you. Now rest as her joy steadies you. Now rest as the stars return above the desert, gentle and bright. Let us drift onward, into dream, into peace, into the soft music of sleep. The night is gentle. The forest holds its breath beneath the silver gaze of the moon. Leaves whisper softly in the breeze. The air carries the fragrance of pine, of moss, of wildflowers touched by dew. Above, the stars are countless, scattered like quiet embers across a dark sky. This is the realm of Artemis, goddess of the wild, protector of maidens, guardian of all that moves freely beneath heaven's light. Step softly into her woods. The earth is cool beneath your feet, scattered with fallen needles and tender grass. Owl wings glide overhead, silent as drifting thoughts. In the distance, a brook murmurs as though telling its own endless story. The forest is alive, yet calm. No place for fear, no place for hurry. Only stillness, only peace. Here Artemis runs. Her steps are light, swift as the wind. Her bow rests in her hand, carved smooth, strung with care. It is not a weapon of anger but of balance. It keeps harmony between beast and hunter, between the fragile and the strong. Her hair shines like the night itself, touched by moonlight. Her eyes are steady, deep as hidden pools. She is both child and queen, both gentle and fierce. She is the rhythm of wild nature, the untamed heart that beats quietly within every living thing. In ancient times, maidens called her name in prayer. They sought her blessing for purity, for safety, for strength. They trusted her to guide them through the shadows of forests, through the changes of their own lives. To them, she was not distant. She was a sister, a protector, a presence who walked beside them in quiet moments. Animals, too, belonged to her. Deer moved gently under her gaze. Wolves lift their heads, not in fear but in respect. The smallest bird, the softest rabbit, rests within her care. Her forest is sanctuary. No life too small, no spirit too wild. In one tale, Artemis and her maidens danced upon the grass. They sang beneath the moon, voices rising like a soft chorus with the night wind. Their laughter was not loud but light, like ripples spreading across still water. The trees swayed as though listening. The stars seemed brighter above them. She is not the goddess of cities or of crowns. She does not linger in stone halls or among thrones. Her temple is the sky itself. Her altar is the forest floor, damp with moss and touched by roots. Her prayer is silence. Her hymn, the cry of an owl, the rush of a stream, the sigh of the breeze through branches. Artemis is called the Maiden of the Silver Bow. But her bow is not only for hunting. It is also a symbol of the crescent moon. Its arc glows softly, mirroring the silver light that rests above the world each night. Just as the moon renews itself, so too does the spirit. Her bow reminds us of cycles, of endings that are beginnings, of darkness that cradles light. When her arrows fly, they are swift, but they are not cruel. They strike with the clarity of truth, with the balance of justice. They move not from anger, but from the deep care of one who guards what must be kept safe. Imagine now a clearing deep within the woods. The trees open gently, allowing the moon to pour down like liquid silver. The ground glows faintly. A circle of deer stand quietly at the edge, their breath rising like mist in the cool night air. The brook hums nearby, its water catching starlight in its ripples. Here, Artemis pauses. She stands still, bow in hand, her eyes watching, not with suspicion, but with serenity. Her presence is calm, protective, like the steady flame of a candle in the dark. The forest rests beneath her gaze, secure, sheltered, whole. In the hush of this moment, her story unfolds. When she was young, it is said she asked her father Zeus for gifts. Not jewels, not crowns, but freedom. Freedom to run across mountains, to wander forests, to remain always untouched by the binds of marriage. She asked for the company of maidens who, like her, loved the quiet wild. And she asked for the gift of guarding young creatures, both human and animal alike. Her wishes were granted, and so she roams forever, free and shining beneath the moon. She is both huntress and healer, both fierce and tender, both guardian and guide. To walk with Artemis is to feel the balance of opposites, the sharp edge of the bowstring and the soft rustle of the deer's fur, the stillness of a pond at night, and the swift leap of a stag at dawn. Her lesson is simple, yet deep, that the world is most alive when left untamed, that the spirit too must sometimes run free, without chains, without burden, that purity is not silence or denial, but a heart unbound, open to the mystery of life. The forest grows deeper, the stars shift above, wheeling slowly across the heavens. Your steps are steady now, guided by her presence. The night is no longer unknown. It is soft, alive, kind. You hear the distant cry of a wolf, low and haunting, but it carries no fear. It is the hymn of the wild, a reminder that every voice belongs, that every creature has its place. You hear the trickle of water, the sigh of trees, the flutter of wings. Each sound joins the chorus of her realm. At times, Artemis was seen as stern, even unyielding. Yet beneath that firmness is devotion. She protects what is sacred. She preserves what is vulnerable. She guards innocence not to bind it, but to allow it to grow. To those who wander lost, she is the guiding star. To those who fear the dark, she is the silver light. To those who feel small, she is the reminder that the smallest bird is seen, the quietest breath is cherished. The moon now reaches its height, round and full above the forest. Its light spills gently, painting silver upon every leaf, every stone, every ripple of water. The world glows softly, as if wrapped in a veil of peace. Artemis raises her bow toward the sky. It curves, mirroring the moon itself. Her eyes close, her breath steady. She does not speak, but her silence is a prayer, a blessing upon all who rest beneath her night. Now you feel her presence around you, a calm strength, a steady grace. You are not hurried. You are not alone. You are safe within her wild silver embrace. Let the forest hold you. Let the moonlight soothe you. Let Artemis, the maiden of the wild, guide you deeper into stillness. The brook continues its song. The owl glides once more across the branches. The deer shift gently, yet remain unafraid. The forest breathes slow and calm. The night is whole, and you drift like a leaf upon a stream. Carried softly, carried gently without effort. The bow rests. The arrows sleep. The goddess watches, serene. Now rest as her forest shelters you. Now rest as her moonlight cradles you. Now rest as Artemis herself stands watch in the wild. Let us drift onward, into dream, into silence, into peace. Night gathers slowly over the mountains. The sky deepens to velvet, scattered with pale silver stars. The last warmth of the sun fades behind stone peaks, leaving the air cool, still, and waiting. You drift into this world as though walking through a dream. The ground is solid beneath you, yet soft with grass and moss. The breath of the earth rises gently, a living warmth hidden below the stones. All around, the silence is vast, yet not empty. It is full with presence, ancient and near. This is the realm of the Great Mother, Cybele, Lady of Mountains, guardian of all living things. Her spirit flows in the soil, in the streams, in the roots that coil deep into the dark. She is the pulse of the earth itself, steady, eternal, kind. Long before temples of marble were raised, she was worshipped here beneath open skies. Her throne was the hillside, her crown the cliffs, her altar the wild meadow. People came to her with offerings of milk and honey, of fruits gathered fresh from orchards. They came with drums, with voices, with songs that echoed against the cliffs. They came not only to ask, but to remember that life itself springs from the earth, that every harvest, every breath, every birth belongs first to her. Her followers called her Mother of the Gods, but her motherhood was not gentle alone. It was vast, it was powerful, it was the strength that shakes mountains and lifts rivers from their beds. Her children were not only people, but lions and deer, trees and stones, storms and stars. All things belonged to her, and she belonged to all things. Imagine her image, carved long ago. She sits upon a throne, lions resting at her side. Her hands hold a drum, the tympanum, whose deep rhythm echoes like the heartbeat of the earth. Around her head rises a crown shaped like a city wall, reminding all that she guards not only nature, but also the homes and hearths of humankind. Her eyes are calm, watching without blinking as though she sees through both shadow and light. Her body is strong, unshaken, like the mountain itself. The sound of her drum was more than music. It was prayer, it was memory, it was the call of the earth itself. The beat rose into the sky, throbbed through the valleys, rolled across fields. Each note was a step of time, a reminder that life moves forward, always, in rhythm with her. Stories tell of how her presence was wild, untamed, overflowing. She was both comfort and thunder, both embrace and storm. Her festivals were filled with sound and color, the air alive with cymbals and flutes. Voices cried out in joy, bodies swayed in dance. The world itself seemed to tremble as people honored her with passion and devotion. And yet when the drums grew still, her other face appeared, the face of silence, the quiet of a cave, the hush of dawn, the peace of a mother watching over her children as they sleep. Both the storm and the silence were hers. Both the wild dance and the soft lullaby belonged to her. One tale speaks of her love and her grief. She loved the beautiful youth Attis, who devoted himself to her service. But fate was cruel, and Attis fell to madness, his life ending among the pines of the forest. In sorrow Cybele wept, and her tears fell into the soil. From her grief came renewal, for the pine tree grew as a symbol of him, evergreen, never fading. So it was remembered that even in loss, life continues. Even in death, the earth offers rebirth. This was her mystery, that nothing is ever lost, that all returns, all transforms, all flows, back into the arms of the Great Mother. Walk deeper into her mountains now. The night is quiet, save for the soft hum of crickets and the sigh of the wind. The stars overhead shine like seeds scattered upon dark soil. You feel the vastness of the world, yet also its closeness. Each step you take rests upon her body, the living earth. Each breath you draw comes from her air, cool and steady. Her presence surrounds you like a cloak, both vast and tender. You pause at a stone ledge. Below, valleys stretch wide, dotted with rivers glinting like threads of silver. Above, the mountain rises, its peak hidden in drifting mist. You feel the strength of the stone beneath your hand, cool and firm. It is her strength. It is the strength that has always been, and will always be. Her worshippers knew this truth, that to honor her was to honor life itself. The plow that cut the field, the seed planted deep, the rain that fed it, the sun that warmed it, all were gifts of the mother. The child born, the family gathered, the village built upon the hillside, all were cradled in her care, and so they sang her hymns by firelight. They let the drumbeat echo like footsteps into the night. They offered milk and honey, not from wealth, but from gratitude, for they knew they belonged to her, as surely as the stream belongs to the mountain, as surely as the star belongs to the sky. Close your eyes within this dream of hers. Hear the slow deep beat of the tympanum. It is steady, like a heart. It is slow, like a breath. It carries you, not forward in haste, but deeper into calm. With each note you feel the weight of the day ease away. With each echo you feel the roots of the earth hold you steady. The Great Mother does not hurry. She does not demand. She is patient, like the mountain that waits for the sun. She is kind, like the soil that cradles the seed. She is eternal, like the cycle of birth and death and birth again. Now imagine her lions. They rest at her side, their golden eyes closed in peace. They are not fierce here. They are guardians, calm and watchful, their strength sleeping beside her. The forest rests, the rivers rest, the mountains rest. Even the stars seem to pause in their endless wheel above. The mother sits still, her drum quiet now. The silence stretches like a soft blanket across the world. Her presence does not fade. It deepens, it cradles, it surrounds. You are safe within her embrace. You are a child of the earth, and she is always near. The night drifts on. The stars move slowly across the sky. The valleys deepen into shadow. The peaks shine silver in the moonlight. The air grows cooler, softer, more still. The world rests. And so do you, for the mother watches. She holds the mountains in her arms. She guards the rivers as they flow. She keeps the seeds in her heart until they rise again. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing is lost. All is held in her care. Now rest as the stars return. Now rest as the mountains breathe. Now rest as the Great Mother keeps watch over her children. Let us drift onward, into silence, into dream, into peace. The night opens like a scroll of quiet silver. The stars lean close, listening. The winds move softly across unseen fields, carrying the faint song of eternity. In this gentle stillness, we drift into a realm not bound by temple or mountain, but by the deep chambers of the soul. Hear the story of Sophia. The spirit of wisdom begins to glow. Sophia means wisdom, not the wisdom of numbers or rules, but the wisdom that feels like light inside the heart. She is the breath before words, the echo of the first song ever sung. In the dream of the Gnostics, she is both guide and longing, a presence that both comforts and mourns. The soul imagines her as a woman of radiant calm. Her eyes carry oceans, and her hands hold the memory of stars. She does not walk with haste. Her steps are slow, like ripples across still water. She belongs to the higher realms, yet she bends toward the human heart. For Sophia is both far and near, both crown of heaven and flame, within a single lamp. The story tells that Sophia once reached too far. From her desire to know the depth of creation, a great shadow was born. This shadow, like a child of longing, formed a world heavy with matter and sorrow. The world became thick with veils. The spirit was wrapped in clay. The soul wandered in forgetfulness. And yet Sophia did not abandon it. Her voice whispered in every corner of earth, in the cry of a newborn, in the fall of autumn leaves, in the hush of desert winds. Her song remained. She carried sorrow, yet her sorrow was love. For the soul lost in the world of shadows, she became the hidden thread of remembrance. She called to the spirit sleeping in flesh, saying gently, "Awaken, you are more than dust. You are light remembering itself. Close your eyes and imagine her presence." A soft glow enters the dream. It is neither sharp nor blinding. It is the steady warmth of a lantern carried at dusk. Sophia walks beside you, silent yet near. You feel no fear. You feel the weight of the day slowly lifted, like garments removed before rest. Her wisdom is not a lesson spoken. It is the quiet truth that flows like water through your being. It tells you, everything belongs, everything returns, everything is held. In the Gnostic tale, Sophia is called Aeon, a timeless power, a spirit older than the firmament itself. She lives beyond stars, yet she bends down to touch the human heart. Her love is a bridge between heaven and earth. Some imagined her as the dove, descending with gentle wings. Some as a spark of flame hiding in every soul. Some as a mother weeping for her children, yet never ceasing to guide them home. She is not forceful. She waits with patience, like the moon above a restless sea. She shines, and in her shining she remembers us until we remember ourselves. The soul, wrapped in this myth, moves like a pilgrim through the night. Each breath becomes a step, each heartbeat a soft drum calling you onward. The path is not hard. It is gentle like moss beneath bare feet. The trees lean close, their branches woven with starlight. They whisper Sophia's name. At the edge of a quiet stream, she kneels. Her hand touches the water and ripples form circles that expand without end. These circles are like wisdom itself, simple yet eternal, touching everything in their path. The stream carries the moon carries her face, and her face carries the memory of home. Sophia's sorrow is not despair. It is tenderness. It is the ache of a mother who longs for her children to see the truth. The world may forget, but she does not forget. Even when veils of matter grow thick, her light seeps through. She hides in poetry. She hides in lullabies. She hides in the silence between thoughts. Whenever a soul pauses, whenever a heart softens, Sophia's presence is near. Some called her the lost pearl. Some called her the bride of eternity. Some said she is the secret name within every prayer. But all who listened knew. She is wisdom woven into the fabric of being. Imagine now that you rest in her sanctuary. It is not built of stone, but of night sky and soft winds. Candles glow like distant stars. The air carries the fragrance of pine and earth. The floor is cool yet comforting beneath your body. You are safe here. Sophia's gaze surrounds you and you are whole. In her sanctuary there are no demands, only stillness, only rest, only the slow unfolding of truth, like petals opening at dawn. She reminds you that wisdom is not heavy. It is light. It is the gentle rhythm of understanding that comes when you are quiet enough to feel. Sophia's myth is also a mirror. It tells that even the divine can stumble, that even wisdom may taste sorrow. But from sorrow comes compassion. From loss comes tenderness. From descent comes return. The listener in the night feels this truth. The weight of the day begins to fade. The worries that pressed hard on the chest become like shadows dissolving in dawn light. What remains is the steady pulse of the soul, remembering it is not alone. Sophia guides you inward. Her lantern shows paths you had forgotten, paths of memory, paths of gentle knowing. You drift down these ways without effort. The ground carries you, the air embraces you. The night holds you like a cradle. At the center of this inward journey, there is a flame. It is small, yet it does not die. This flame is Sophia's gift. It is wisdom, hidden inside you, a spark that waits in silence. When you feel far from truth, the flame remains. When you feel lost, the flame remains. When the night feels endless, the flame remains. It is Sophia's reminder that you are part of eternity. Now the forest grows still. The stars lean closer. The stream softens into silence. Sophia's form fades, but her presence lingers. She is not gone. She is within. You rest, carried by her light. Her sorrow has become your comfort. Her wisdom has become your breath. Her flame has become your heart. The story of Sophia is not finished. It flows like an endless river. It sings like a hymn that never ends. And as you listen, your body grows heavy with calm. Your mind softens into quiet spaces. Your spirit drifts like a leaf upon still water. Let us drift onward now. The night cradles you, the stars whisper gently. And Sophia, spirit of wisdom, remains with you, not in words, but in the silence that holds you safe. Rest as the stars return. Rest as wisdom becomes light in your dreams. Rest, for Sophia is near. The night stretches wide like a soft shawl woven of stars. The moon leans close, pouring silver light upon the quiet earth. The air hums with stillness, and yet beneath the stillness, a pulse begins to stir. It is the rhythm of creation itself, a heartbeat older than time. This is the presence of Shakti, the eternal power, the living current that flows through all things. Shakti is energy, yet she is more than energy. She is the breath of existence, the warmth behind the sun, the coolness of moonlight on quiet waters. She is the gentle rise and fall of breath, the song of rivers, the flame of stars. Without her there is silence and stillness. With her there is life, movement, and endless becoming. She is not separate from the world. She is the world. She is the root of the tree, the unfolding of the flower, the milk that nourishes the newborn, the whisper of wind between mountains. Wherever there is life, there is Shakti. In the ancient songs of India, Shakti is the feminine power, not soft in weakness, but soft in strength, in the way that water wears down stone, in the way that soil holds the seed, in the way that love endures beyond time. The gods themselves rest upon her. Shiva without Shakti is only stillness, a mountain without movement. But when Shakti touches him, he dances. The dance becomes creation. The world awakens, the stars spin in circles, the rivers flow, the seasons turn. All of it a play of Shakti. Close your eyes now and imagine her presence. She is not far. She is as near as your breath, as steady as the beat within your chest. Her current flows through you like a river that does not end. It carries warmth into your limbs, softening the weight of the day. It carries light into your mind, quieting restless thoughts. You are not outside of her. You are within her. Her energy surrounds you like a great ocean, yet also rests within you as quietly as a single drop of dew. The myths tell of Shakti in many forms. Sometimes she is gentle and kind, like Parvati, the mountain's daughter, who loves with patience and grace. Sometimes she is fierce, like Durga, who rides the lion, her many arms holding the weapons of protection, her face shining with fearless calm. Sometimes she is wild, like Kali, who dances in the flames of time, cutting away all illusion. Each form is Shakti. Each face is her power. Gentle, fierce, wild, calm. All are needed for all our life. Imagine her as light now, spreading softly through the night sky. It touches the trees. It touches the mountains. It touches the quiet surface of water. It touches you. Every place it moves, life begins to glow. The grass shimmers. The stars deepen. Your body rests in her warmth. This is her gift. She is not distant, waiting on altars of stone. She is here. She is now. She is the power of being alive. Her story is also the story of balance. For Shakti is energy, and energy must flow. If it is held too tight, it grows restless. If it is lost too quickly, it leaves emptiness. But when it moves like breath, in and out, rise and fall, it becomes harmony. This harmony is life. This harmony is peace. Rest now, as her harmony wraps around you. Feel her power in the gentle rhythm of your heart. Each beat is an offering, a soft drum that echoes her eternal song. Feel her in the rise of your breath, as air enters, as air leaves, like tides of the great sea. You are part of her ocean. You are carried in her waves. In the old temples of India, drums once thundered for her. Bells rang. Flames flickered on brass lamps. Flowers were offered. Yet Shakti does not live only in temples. She lives in the turning of the earth. She lives in the morning sun and in the night sky filled with stars. She lives in silence and in sound. She lives in stillness and in movement. She is never absent. Picture her now as a mother, her hands wide, her arms open. Every soul is her child. Every creature rests within her care. Her embrace is not bound by time. It is endless. It holds you now, and it holds the stars themselves. Her love is not hurried. It is slow, like rivers carving valleys, like the moon pulling the sea. Her love is patient, gentle, and strong. It asks nothing of you. It simply holds. The sages once said, Shakti is the serpent coiled within, sleeping at the base of the spine. When she awakens, she rises like light, moving upward, illuminating each center of the soul. She is the inner flame, the hidden current of awareness. She rises slowly, like dawn breaking through darkness, bringing clarity, bringing calm. Imagine her now, resting within you as warmth. Not a fire that burns, but a glow that comforts. A steady light in the center of your being. It does not fade. It does not leave. It waits, patient and eternal. The earth itself is her body. The rivers, her blood. The mountains, her bones. The wind, her breath. The fire, her spirit. The sky, her endless veil. When you lie upon the earth, you rest upon Shakti. When you breathe the air, you breathe her gift. When you look at the stars, you see her eyes watching over creation. She is not one place. She is all places. She is not one moment. She is all moments. Now the night deepens. The stars shimmer more softly. The wind slows its song, and yet the current of Shakti flows on, gentle and endless. It cradles you in its rhythm. It carries you like a mother carries her child. It holds you like the sea holds a drifting boat. Your body grows heavier with rest. Your breath grows slower, steadier, calm. And still, beneath it all, her pulse moves. The pulse of creation. The pulse of life. The pulse of Shakti. Let the story soften now. Let it fade like a candle lowering to embers. Shakti remains, but she no longer needs words. She is within you, quiet, steady, gentle. Rest in her embrace. Rest in her current. Rest in her love. Let us drift onward. The night carries you deeper. The stars return to their silence. And Shakti, power of creation, flows through your dreams, endless, eternal, and kind. The night deepens across the northern sky. The stars stretch long and clear, glittering as if carved into glass. The air is sharp, cold as crystal, yet soft with silence. From the mountains down to the fjords, a hush falls over the land. Only the faint sound of wind remains, moving through pine and birch, like a gentle voice that has spoken since the beginning of time. It is in this silence that the hidden goddesses of the north appear. Frigg, who sees all fates, Freya, whose heart is both flame and flower, and the Volur, the wise women who carried the threads of destiny in their hands. Their presence does not come with thunder. It comes like snow at twilight, quiet, endless, and deep. First, let us drift to Frigg. She is the queen of the northern heavens, yet she wears no crown of jewels. Her crown is the sky itself, woven of clouds and starlight. Her voice is like the rustle of flax, for she is a weaver. In her hall, great looms stretch wide, and on them she spins the threads of fate. Each thread is a life, bright or dim, long or brief, yet all belong to her pattern. The people of old believed that Frigg knew every destiny, yet she spoke little. Her wisdom was silence. Her power was patience. She held the secrets of what would come, but rarely revealed them. For fate was like winter's snow. You cannot call it, you cannot stop it. You can only walk within it, step by step, softly. When you close your eyes, imagine her loom. The threads glow faintly, like stars caught on spider silk. Some threads cross, meeting and parting, like rivers joining for a time. Others stretch far, straight and sure. Each thread is necessary. Without one, the whole would not hold. This is Frigg's gift. The knowledge that every life is part of something greater, something whole. Then there is Freya. If Frigg is stillness, Freya is movement. She is the goddess of love, but also of sorrow. She wears a necklace of gold, a treasure called Brisingamen, yet her beauty is not of jewels. Her beauty is in her spirit, wild as fire, tender as morning dew. Freya rides a chariot drawn by cats, soft-pawed and mysterious. She weeps for her lost love, and her tears fall as gold upon the earth. Her sorrow becomes beauty, just as her joy becomes song. She teaches that love is never one thing alone. It is sweetness and ache. It is closeness and loss. It is both the flame that warms and the flame that consumes. At times she leads the chosen dead to her field of rest. Not only the brave of war, but also those whose spirits shine with devotion. She keeps them close as a mother keeps her children. Her embrace is wide, and her heart, though touched by grief, never ceases to give. Imagine her now, standing in a northern meadow. The grass bends beneath a soft wind. The sky glows pale with endless light. Freya walks gently, her steps scattering blossoms. Where she passes, life awakens. Where she lingers, love endures. And then, there are the Volur, the wise women, the seeresses of the north. They did not wear crowns or jewels. They carried staffs of wood wrapped in carvings, tipped with iron or bronze. They moved from village to village, their presence both feared and honored. For they spoke to the hidden world. They touched the threads of fate. The Volur sang in strange voices, their songs slow and deep, like the sound of earth shifting. With their chants they entered the unseen. They called on spirits of land and sky. They asked the winds to reveal secrets. They read the patterns of the stars and the shapes of fire. To listen to a Volva's song was to hear the earth itself breathe. The words were heavy yet soothing, like waves breaking on a cold shore. And though their vision spoke of change, of trials, of endings, their presence brought comfort. For to know that fate is woven is to know that nothing is random. Every turn belongs to the great design. Now picture the northern forest at night. The trees stand tall, their branches black against the sky. Snow lies upon the earth, glowing faintly in starlight. Between the trees, 3 figures move. Frigg in her quiet wisdom, Freya in her radiant sorrow, and a Völva, her staff glinting in the moonlight. Together they walk, their footsteps silent upon the snow. The wind carries their presence. It hums through the pines. It whispers across frozen lakes. It brushes against your cheek like a mother's hand. The goddesses of the north are hidden, yet they are near. Their voices echo in the silence. Their strength lingers in the air. Their stories remind us that power does not always roar. Sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it is hidden, sometimes it is sorrow, turned into beauty. Sometimes it is patience, woven in silence. Sometimes it is vision, spoken in low song. These are the powers of the goddesses of the north. They are not loud flames. They are steady embers. They are not bright thunder. They are the deep hum beneath the storm. Rest now, as their presence surrounds you. Feel Frigg's loom weaving softly. Feel Freya's heart, a warmth both tender and strong. Feel the Völva's song, low and slow, like the tide beneath the ice. Together they cradle your spirit. Together they remind you that you are part of the pattern, part of the great weaving. The northern winds soften. The stars dim, like eyes closing, and the hidden goddesses return to silence. Let us drift onward. The threads of fate hold gently. The song of the seeress fades into the night. Now rest as the stars return, and the northern winds carry you into dreams. The night rests heavy with stillness. Candles burn low in quiet chapels. The moon drapes silver across rooftops and gardens. The air is soft, filled with the faint fragrance of lilies and incense. Somewhere far away a bell tolls, its sound slow and deep, like a heartbeat of stone. In this stillness, a gentle figure rises before the mind's eye. Mary, Mother of Light. She does not arrive with thunder. She does not speak with force. Her presence is felt like warm hands upon weary shoulders, like the hush of dawn breaking upon a sleepless night. She is the one who gathers sorrow, who carries burdens too heavy for the human heart. She is compassion itself, wrapped in the softness of blue robes, crowned not with jewels, but with a circle of stars. Long ago, when the world seemed filled with struggle and longing, Mary was remembered as a mother to all. Not only the mother of a child, but the mother of countless souls. In her, people saw refuge. They saw the safe harbor, the lantern at the shore, the embrace that does not fade. Her prayers became lullabies for generations. They floated through stone cathedrals, whispered in mountain villages, sung in hidden chapels beneath the earth. Always her voice seemed near. Her words were soft like water over stones, patient like the turning of seasons. And in every prayer she spoke of mercy, of love that endures beyond grief, of peace that can never be broken. Imagine now a candle-lit sanctuary. The air is cool, the walls carved with arches that reach toward heaven. Light flickers over painted glass, where Mary is shown holding her child. Her eyes are deep pools of calm. Her face carries both sorrow and serenity. She looks not only at the child in her arms, but at every soul who enters as though each one were her own. In her symbols, the world found meaning. The lily, white and pure, spoke of her gentle spirit. The rose, red and unfolding, spoke of her quiet strength. The blue of her cloak spoke of sky, of shelter, of boundless love. And the stars above her crown spoke of her place in eternity, a guiding light, a mother whose watch never ends. Her presence was felt most deeply in moments of sorrow. When grief weighed heavy, her image brought comfort. When fear darkened the path, her prayers opened a small flame. It was said that Mary heard the cries of all who suffered. No voice was too small, no pain too hidden. Like a river, she carried them, and in her embrace, sorrow was softened, like cloth in warm water. Her tenderness was not weakness, but strength hidden in gentleness. A strength that listens, that holds, that never turns away. This is why she was called the Mother of Light. For light does not only dazzle, sometimes it soothes. Sometimes it rests upon you like the pale glow of the moon, soft, yet enduring. Picture yourself beneath a starry sky. The night is wide, but not empty. The stars shine like countless lamps, and among them, a circle of 12 glimmers brighter. It is Mary's crown, her eternal sign. Beneath those stars you feel her nearness. She does not speak, yet her silence is full. It is the silence of love, the silence that holds without asking, without demanding, without end. Her prayers, passed down through centuries, were soft threads of comfort. They were words of surrender, words of trust. Many knelt in dark chapels, whispering their burdens into her hands. And though their voices trembled, their hearts grew lighter. For to give sorrow into her keeping was to set it into gentle waters. It was to know that nothing is too heavy for the Mother of Light. Her rosary became a river of prayer. Bead by bead, word by word, hearts calmed. The rhythm was slow, like breathing in sleep. Each repetition was a step into stillness, a soft turning inward, until finally the heart rested, as though rocked in a cradle. Mary was also seen as a bridge between heaven and earth. Her hands touched both worlds. She was human, yet touched by divinity. She knew sorrow, yet carried hope. She knew fear, yet held faith. In her, people saw themselves, their own struggles, their own longing for peace, and they saw what was possible. A heart that never closed, a love that never withered. Imagine now, walking slowly through a quiet garden at night. The path is lit by lanterns, each one glowing with gentle flame. At the center of the garden, there is a fountain. The water flows softly, its sound like whispers of prayer. Beside the fountain, Mary stands. Her hands are open, her eyes tender, her presence steady as stone, yet soft as water. She looks upon you as though you were her child. She does not ask for words. She does not ask for offerings, only that you rest here, safe in her gaze, safe in her silence. And as you stand within that garden, the weight of the day begins to fade. The water flows, the lanterns glow, the night deepens but does not darken, for the Mother of Light is near. Her story reminds us that love is not only fire, not only passion, love is also shelter. Love is also rest. Love is the hand that lifts another from sorrow. Love is the heart that listens without end. In the quiet of night, as the world turns beneath the stars, Mary's presence lingers. Her light is not one that blinds. It is one that calms. It is not the rising sun, but the gentle glow that carries you into dreams. Rest now as her prayers surround you. Rest in the rhythm of her rosary. Rest in the silence of her gaze. Rest in the light of her crown of stars, for in her you are held. In her you are safe. In her you are home. The candles burn lower. The moon drifts higher, and the Mother of Light returns to her quiet throne, where she watches forever, forever in love. Let us drift onward. Let the garden fade into starlight. Let the prayers soften into silence. Now rest as the stars return, and Mary's light guides you into dreams. The night is deep now. The stars have settled into their places. Their soft light spread across the heavens like silver dust. The air is still, yet it hums with quiet memory, as though unseen voices drift across the sky. Candles burn low, their flames swaying in rhythm with the breath of the world. It is here, in this hushed expanse, that we arrive at the closing of our journey. Through forests and deserts, temples and rivers, mountains and seas, we have walked with goddesses and mothers, with prophets and wise women, with keepers of songs and weavers of fate. Their names differ, their stories wear different robes, but their essence is one. It is the eternal feminine. It is the eternal flame. The eternal feminine has been called by many names. Sophia, the spirit of wisdom. Shakti, the current of creation. Frigg and Freya, who wove the fates upon northern winds. Mary, the mother of light, whose compassion wraps the world like a cloak. Each name a lantern, each face a mirror, each story a thread in the same tapestry. When Sophia wept, her tears became the rivers of knowledge. When Shakti danced, her steps made the stars tremble into birth. When the Volors sang, their voices bound past, present, and future into one. When Mary gazed upon her children, her love became a crown of stars. Different rivers, yet all flowing toward the same sea. The eternal feminine is not bound by time. It has been present since the first dawn. It breathes in the rhythm of the tide. It rests in the silence of snow. It rises in the warmth of the hearth. It whispers in the lullabies of mothers. It lives in the hands that heal, in the arms that embrace, in the voices that guide. Always it is both gentle and strong, gentle as the wind over still water, strong as the roots of an ancient tree. It bends without breaking. It yields without fading. It listens without end. Imagine now, standing at the center of a great circle. Around you, the goddesses gather. They do not speak with words, yet their presence fills the air like music. Sophia stands cloaked in starlight. Her eyes are deep as the sky. She is the whisper of wisdom, the inner knowing that guides without sound. Shakti moves with quiet grace. Her hands shimmer with sparks of life. She is the pulse of creation, the flame in every breath, the current that never rests. From the north, Frigg and Freya step forward, their cloaks woven with feathers and frost. They carry threads of fate in their palms, spinning and weaving with tender care. Their presence is both fierce and gentle, both protective and kind. And then Mary appears, clothed in blue, her crown of stars glowing softly. Her gaze is steady, a gaze that sees all sorrow, yet answers it with love. Together they stand, not separate, but one flame with many colors, not divided, but one song with many tones. The eternal feminine teaches through silence as much as through voice. It is felt in the calm after tears. It is found in the strength that rises when all seems lost. It does not demand recognition, yet it shines in every soul. For within each heart there is a spark of this eternal flame. It may glow softly, like a candle by the bedside. It may flare brightly like the sun at noon. But it is always there, a light that cannot be extinguished. This flame nourishes. It guides the weary. It reminds the lost of their path. It comforts the lonely. It heals the broken. It does not pass away, for it is not bound to any single story or name. It is beyond boundary, beyond time. Picture now the great tapestry of the ages. Threads of gold, threads of silver, threads of night and dawn. Some threads are bright, some hidden in shadow. Yet all are woven by the same hand, guided by the same flame. In that tapestry, the goddesses are not apart from us. They are the fabric itself. They are the light shimmering in every thread. They are the song humming in every pattern. When you gaze at the stars, you see Sophia. When you breathe with the earth, you feel Shakti. When you walk upon snow or hear the wind's song, you touch the presence of the northern mothers. And when you feel the quiet comfort of love, you rest in the embrace of Mary. The eternal feminine is not a single flame, but a fire carried in countless lamps, in temples, in hearths, in quiet chapels, in hidden groves, in the beating of the heart, in the breath that moves gently as you sleep. It is the light that does not sleep. It is the hand that does not release. It is the song that does not end. Now the circle of goddesses begins to fade. Their forms melt into starlight, their presence soft as mist. Yet they do not leave. They remain within the air, within the silence, within the steady flame that burns in your own chest. The night grows deeper, the stars glow brighter, and the eternal feminine whispers like the sea. It says, "Rest, you are held. You are guided. You are light. Let the world soften around you now. Let the stories dissolve into silence. Let the eternal flame burn gently, quiet, steady within you." The goddesses return to their dwelling places, Sophia to the heavens, Shakti to the pulse of life, Frigg and Freya to the northern winds, Mary to her crown of stars. But their flame remains, woven into your breath, woven into your sleep. The candles flicker one last time. The air grows still. The night wraps itself like a cloak around the earth. And you drift into dreams guided by the eternal feminine, carried by the eternal flame. Now rest as the stars return. Rest as the eternal flame glows quietly within you. Rest, for you are never apart from the light. Let us drift onward. Let the silence carry us. Let the flame guide us into sleep.